Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere Shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom. Alright, so today I got a couple pieces of, news I want to grab, filtered through the scriptures because this is all biblical prophecy. Okay. The first thing we want to go into is this article. It says hundreds protest in Minneapolis after ICE officer deletes Renee Nicole Macklin Good. So as you can see, all right, I made that video about ICE. I believe it was either yesterday or the day before, man, But anyway, the point being, hey, this is exactly as I said. What happened exactly as we've been saying, man. This is the time of Jacob's trouble, all right? And Jacob's trouble is going to become everybody's trouble, man. All right, now, from what I remember hearing from the Apostle Tahar, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this woman was an Edomite, ended up being an Edomite, okay? Which, hey, like I said, man, it's going to become everybody's trouble. All right, it's the Lord's judgment, okay? But it shows you that these ICE, workers, these ICE officers are becoming more and more unhinged, okay? Let's go ahead into the article real quick. It says an immigration and customs enforcement officer shot and deleted a Minneapolis motorist on Wednesday, a shooting that federal officials claimed was an act of self-defense, but that the city's mayor described as reckless and unnecessary. A hospital record obtained by the Associated Press identified the woman as 37-year-old Renee Macklin Good, though business records spelled her name as Renee Nicole Macklin Good. Calls and messages to the woman's family were not immediately returned. In social media accounts, Macklin Good described herself as a poet and writer and wife and mom, who is from Colorado and currently experiencing Minneapolis, and displayed a pride flag emoji. You see? Hey, that's the Lord's judgment, man. Hey, that's why we tell you Israelites to repent and stop following these Babylonian ways, man. Okay, and you never know, this lady who has an Edomite name, might have looked like an Edomite, could end up being a Israelite, that just looks like a heathen. Okay, and she received her judgment from the Lord. Okay, but nevertheless, this is why we don't follow the ways of the heathen, man, because it leads to death. All right, this is judgment of the Lord, man. All right, you see, displayed a pride flag emoji. A profile picture shows her smiling and holding a young child against her cheek. Her deleting quickly drew a crowd of hundreds of angry protesters. This is at least the fifth death to result from aggressive U.S. immigration crackdown President Donald Trump's administration launched last year. So, yeah, of course, it took a so-called white woman getting put down for people to actually think there's a problem with these ICE officers. Go figure. Okay. Let's go to the next article. This is it says Venezuela updates. U.S. forces seize 2 tankers. Rubio lays out plan for American control. So as you can see, there's 2 tankers that's been seized because Venezuela was a port, for these other countries like, you got Russia, China, Iran, to get their oil from Venezuela. But, like I said in one of my last videos, these devils, these Edomites, America wants to control that oil, okay? And America's not going to allow, or they're going to try to stop, Russia, Iran, China, those other countries over there from getting this oil, okay? Read this real quick. It says, after the Secretary of State unveiled a proposal for managing Venezuela, and the U.S. forces boarded a Russian-flagged tanker and a second ship President Donald Trump had a phone call with President Gustavo Petro of Colombia amid escalating tensions between the two leaders. All right, so Russia and America getting into it. Like we've been saying, this is biblical prophecy. Okay, and this is the developing story, man. There's a lot of other videos you can watch on YouTube. Some say that Russia is gonna try to, attack American ships because these oil tankers were seized. Okay, so regardless of what happens, we do know that the MOTB must be mandated for buying and selling before this third world war goes nuclear. Okay, but nevertheless, this is a sign, and the Lord has told us time and time again to pay attention. Okay, this is 2 Esdras chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, right? All these different signs the Lord's given us, man. Okay? The earthquakes, the famines, the pestilences, right? The third world war, okay? All these different economic battles they're having with these sanctions and tariffs and, boots on the ground. You got, Ukraine over there, right? You've got what's going on here in Venezuela. You've got, China, Taiwan, right? You've got all these things going on in the Middle East, all right? And rumors of what? World War III. And right now there's a lot of rumors because of these two tankers that were seized. There's a lot of rumors of Russia planning to use nukes against America, just off the strength of knowing, how America is, that basically that insatiable greed, all right? And Russia doesn't want to feel like, basically Russia doesn't want America to bully it. Just like America's been bullying all these other countries, Russia, unlike these other countries, is a country that rivals the force that America has. Okay, maybe not in the military as far as, planes and, those fighter jets and all that other bullshit. But what does Putin actually have that is more powerful than anything America has is those nukes. Okay, not only does he have more nukes, more powerful nukes, but he has the technology to use them. They're very accurate. Okay, they're very fast. America's nukes are outdated. So, if we're talking boots on the ground, we're talking fucking tanks and bullshit, sending men to go die at the front lines, meat grinder bullshit. Okay, maybe America is better, but that's not how the war is going to be fought, man. The scriptures tell us it's going to go nuclear, all right? And if we're talking a nuclear battle, Russia's going to win hands down. Okay, so that's the ace up the Lord's sleeve that, the people of this world don't understand. The people of this world thinks that it's all about money, that it's all about, America's just better at war. America has more ships, they have more tanks, they have more this, they have more that. It doesn't matter. Because you drop a nuke, all that shit is gone, man. This war is not going to stop with boots on the ground. All right? This third world war will go nuclear, man. Right? And we know that according to the scriptures, man. That's why we pay attention to the signs. Okay? And while all this shit's going on, they're doing the race for 6G. Okay? Which is going to include what? Implantable technologies. So as we speak, everything is moving forward, man. And the stage is set for World War III. All right? It says, and so the Lord is visiting this place, right? Like the scriptures say, when you see all these things happen, understand that the Lord is visiting this place, man, because it's about to come to a close. So verse 3 says, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, right, and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right, you see? So, hey, that's what we're seeing here with this woman that was put to death by ICE. You got people uproars. You got uproars there. If you look, I was just watching a brother's video who was talking about, you know, in Venezuela, there's a bunch of uproars over there. There's a bunch of protests of the people of Venezuela talking about, you know, hey, America's not going to bully us. We'll fight back, this, that, and the third. Okay, amongst many other uproars that we've been seeing and reporting on. Okay, so these things are all prophecy. All right, Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows, right? These arrows that are bright is the thermonuclear missiles. It says, gather the shields. Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Okay, in the modern day Medes are the Russians. Okay, you see that land over there, the Mede, that's where Media used to be. Okay, over there in Russia. For his device is against Babylon. Which device is this talking about? The nuclear bombs, the thermonuclear missiles. It says, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, right? Because it is the vengeance of Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. So the Lord Yahweh is angry at America, and the Lord Yahweh is going to use Russia to destroy this land, America. Okay, and it's not just going to be Russia. Russia's going to lead the pack, but also you're going to have Iran, you're going to have China, you have these other countries that hate America. You're going to have America's own allies turn against her. You see glimpses of that now. You know, I just made a video about that, talking about how, I believe it was Denmark, was saying some things about how, you know, if America does such and such, we're not going to be a part of NATO anymore. NATO is over. We're done. We're not going to be allies anymore. You see? So it's happening, man. All right? And the Lord created the nuclear bomb, man. The Lord did it. The Lord did it to fulfill prophecy. It's his prophecy. It's the Lord's movie. Okay? This is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith. Right? A smith is a scientist. That bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy, right? The waster is these thermonuclear bombs, man, right? These nuclear bombs are the Lord's device, which he's going to have Russia use against America. Okay, that's going to be the end of the world. Okay, that's going to be the end of America's empire, right? And so the Lord is going to save his elect from this whore. Okay, so, you know, hey, we're supposed to look up, like the scriptures say, when these things begin to happen, look up, for your salvation draweth nigh, roughly paraphrasing, man. Okay, we're only in the 7th of January, man. And there's a bunch of other stuff that I'm seeing that I would like to bring out, but, you know, I just don't have the time at this moment to bring it all out. Okay. But, you know, let's see if I can, just real quick. Yeah, no, I don't got nothing right now. Just kind of looking at the phone real quick. You know, there's a lot of stuff. We'll keep bringing it out as the Lord's will allows. And, you know, with that, I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh. Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem HaKodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us his truth. And shalom to the hopeful, like shalom wa, abba, shalom.